Hey everyone, did you know that your Wintec HMI can function as an OPC UA server or an OPC UA client? Well, if you didn't, I'm going to show you how to connect your Wintec HMI to an OPC UA server within this video. So to get started, I'll go ahead and open up Easy Builder Pro and I'll create a new project for a CMT 3072XH. The OPC UA client driver is available on all of our HMI models, so you don't have to worry about what model you're using. This solution is going to work for you. So within the system parameters, I'll go ahead and select new device/server, and we'll add an instance of our OPC UA client driver. The default port is set to 4840. This should be the default port used by most OPC UA servers. You may want to double check your server. The server that I'm using today, which is going to be Inductive Automation's Ignition Gateway, has a default port of 62541. So we'll want to configure the port number to match that. We'll set the IP address of our OPC UA server. Since I'm just testing this and it's on my local computer, I'll go ahead and just put our loopback IP address. So that's 127.0.0.1. Now next, and this is really important, you want to click on Security and Authentication. And at the top, where you've configured your endpoint, so the OPC UA endpoint, as the IP address and port number, you want to make sure you add any server names if that's applicable and select the magnifying glass. This will open up our discovery tool, and here we can already see that our OPC UA client driver has found our Ignition OPC UA server. So I'll go ahead and click apply, and it'll just pre-fill of all of our configurations here, and this should pretty much be it. Now, just a quick note, some OPC UA servers don't support anonymous authentication, or they may not support it initially. So you want to double check the OPC UA server that you're using and either ensure that anonymous or username and password are enabled. And if username and password is enabled, you want to configure those credentials here. It's really important. And secondly, depending on the server certificate requirements, you may have to enable rebuild certificate when HMI starts and use SHA 256 mode if the server requires an SHA 256 server certificate. It's not necessary in our case, but it's just a good note for you. So go ahead and click OK. And we've added our driver, so now we're going to have to import our tags. All we have to do in this case is we'll select Tag Manager, and we can configure the string type. So I don't talk about this usually in our videos, but really the string type selection just depends on the string format within your project. So most tag-based PLCs use Unicode encoding format, or basically one character per every 16 bits of data. Some PLCs, maybe as an example, we may take like a PLC that supports Modbus, will use 1 byte per character. So you want to double check your character requirements beforehand. Usually not a very big issue. If you encounter some sort of string issues later on, you'll just go ahead and re-import the tags and reselect your string identification here. I'll just go ahead and select 2 char per word. Right now, I just have a few dents, or maybe just 1 dent in this project that we're going to import. So not an issue for us. So in this case, I only have maybe 1 dent, double integer tag in our project. So the string selection process is not an issue for us. So I've selected Tag Manager, and we'll get a little pop-up window here. You'll see device over on the left side, and initially you can see that it doesn't really seem to do anything. So what we're going to want to do is 2 things. So we're going to want to right-click device and select Rebrowse. It'll say this operation will clear basically all of the tags that are already imported. Do you want to proceed? We're going to click yes. Click the caret icon. And in this case, you can see that there's still no tags available. So why is that? Well, a lot of OPC UA servers require that you go into some sort of configuration menu and trust the certificate that the OPC UA client is providing. So in this case, we'll go into our Ignition Gateway and trust our OPC UA client certificate. And while we're in the Ignition Gateway, we take a quick look at our port settings so we can see our bind port. This is the same port that we referenced in EB Pro. We've also enabled anonymous access allowed. So this allows us to use that anonymous authentication. rather than a username and password. And then we've exposed all of our tag providers. So to accept our client certificate, at least within Ignition Gateway, we're going to go to the security section here. We'll select server, and under quarantined certificates, we'll select the 3 dots on the right-hand side and select trust. So I've just clicked it. We're going to select trust, and you'll see that it moves up to our trusted certificates. So now when we actually go back in EB Pro and click rebrowse, our tag should actually pop up. So let's do that. So I'm going to just right-click device. You can see there's nothing added here, and I'm going to click rebrowse. It's going to prompt us again, and then now we can see that under device, we have objects and tag providers, and I'm going to go all the way down to default. Under generic, I'm going to reference this data 0 reference tag. So I'm just going to drag this and drop this here. If you have a big group of tags, you can actually drag the whole group here and drop it. Just note that if you have a lot of tags within that group, like 1,000, it may take a couple seconds to load as it parses through all of those objects. So now all we have to do is click the close option up here. It's going to say there are still unsaved changes. Do you want to save them? I'm going to click yes. So we've saved our tags. We'll click OK. Now we'll go into the object tab. And just because this is just a double integer, I'm going to create a numeric object so we can actually display this data just to verify our communication. So within the read and write address option, I'll select for our tag, the data 0 reference tag right there. And then I'll click OK. We'll add this to our window. And now I will go ahead and run an online simulation. It's going to prompt us to save our project file. And it'll compile, and then in just a second here, it's going to run. When the online simulation boots up, it may take a couple seconds, but eventually it will load and connect and show the data from our tag within the Opc No Way server. So if I go ahead and update this here, maybe we'll say 25, click write once, we can see that that value is updated here as well. And that's really all there is to it, and that's how you connect an HMI, or in this case, EB Pro's online simulation tool with the Opc No Way client to an Opc No Way server. So all that's left is to actually download the project to your HMI. Just don't forget to change the IP address of the target Opc No Way server within the project beforehand. As I noted here, I'm using the loopback IP. So before downloading it to my HMI, I actually have to change it to my PC's IP. Typically, though, you'll be connecting to some external device, so this might not be applicable to everyone. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.